Monday Night Football, baby. My best bets are on the way. We got 2 games on the slate. Aren't the best games? We're going to dive into my best bet for each of them. We got the Packers taking on the Giants, the Titans and Miami taking on the Dolphins. My best bet in each of the games is on the way. What's going on? My name is Austin from Calling Our Shot. If you are new to the channel, I apologize in advance. We are in a change of scenery today for just this video and the NBA Best Bets video, which we posted right after this one. I'm in Vegas. As some of you might know, we were at the in-season tournament, NBA, finals, if you will, and then we were at the Vikings and Raiders absolute snooze fest early on today. Those will both be second channel videos posted over the next 2 weeks. But either way, we don't take days off. We're still going to grind. There's not going to be the same normal, graphics or overlays you might be used to. So if this is your first time ever watching the channel, well, I can promise you one thing. The videos are going to get better from going forward, but you guys came here for some winning picks, and hopefully I can deliver just that. Go 2-0. But first, as always, we got to recap how we did on Sunday. Now, don't normally have the normal recap, but it was a 2-3 week, kind of ruining our 18-4 run we were on. Now on a 20-7 run. That's pretty solid, but let's talk about those winners. We had Desmond Ritter's over in yards. 190.5. The man threw for nearly 350. We also had a Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs, a 50 and 25 same game parlay. We did that and that cashed. Our losses, we had Swift, his over in rush yards, which Eagles did not show up on Sunday. As I would know, I had a teaser and they were my last leg to turn $40 into $350 or $400. Thanks for that. We had Gibbs over in receiving yards. I think he had with 18. We needed 26. I believe I was watching that game on my phone and he dropped a screen pass that probably would have went for more than that. And then Justin Jefferson, as I was in attendance of the Vikings and Raiders game, got injured. A brutal break there. But let's not worry about it. Let's move on to Monday Night Football and strong. Go 2-0 today. And as always, we'll have some more picks in our NBA Best Bets video if you're curious what I'm playing over there. But let's dive into the picks, though, today. I'm not going to waste any more of your time, and I don't want to waste any more of my time because it is a weird change of scenery. It's now midnight over here, and I'll be posting the video later on. But let's start with let's go to the Giants game. We're going to start in New York for my first pick. Going to Saquon Barkley. I really like his over, 67.5 rushing yards, minus 113 on FanDuel. Now, personally, I would play this up to right around 70, 74.5, 73.5. That's probably as high as I would go. A couple books were at the 69, 70.5 kind of line. I don't necessarily know where this goes before, the game kicks off later on this evening. But I really do like Saquon today, and I'll talk about a couple different reasons why. And I really like his matchup. I think his matchup is the best one. And in a game where you got a bunch of injuries on both sides of the field, I'm going to go to the guy that I know is going to get the rock, and that's Saquon Barkley. Now, you look at the Giants, they're coming off their bye week, so they didn't play last week. They obviously went into their bye with some ugly games, but coming off the bye week, Packers have obviously looked pretty good recently. I think this is a game the Giants sneakily keep it close. We haven't really seen the Packers outside of, a couple games this season absolutely blow out teams that just haven't done that. And I think we're going to see the Giants being able to run the football in all 4 quarters, which is important for a guy like Saquon. And we've seen in his last 3 games kind of going into that bye week, he had 66, 83, and 46 yards. So was only over in one of those 3 games, one of them coming real close. But you look at his attempts, 14 or less carries in all of those games. However, tonight, you see his rush attempts line set at 15.5, and heck, even FanDuel moved up to 16.5, despite him going under in 3 straight games. So I think they're saying, hey, their Giants are getting back to running the football in an advantageous matchup, and this is just that. I mean, you look at him. He's going up against a Packers team that allows the 7th most rushing yards per attempt in the NFL at nearly 4.5. At home, that's 4.2. On the road, that's 4.7. So they've struggled even more on the road. And Saquon's a guy that has hit this over in 5 of his last 7. He was on a streak where he went over, in 3 or 4 straight games. Then the last couple where he kind of had some tougher matchups, could not get it done. But I look at a guy like Tommy DeVito, the Tommy Cutlets. He's out there starting again for him. And he's finally, had the bye week. I mean, you think about Tommy Cutlets being thrown into there. Obviously, they planned on having Daniel Jones as the starter. Then they planned on Tyrod Taylor being the backup. And then Tommy DeVito was just thrown right into the fire, and he just kind of had to learn on the fly. Now, obviously, he's in practice every single day with this team, but still kind of be thrown into the fire, kind of trying to figure things out. And through his first 4 starts, looked all right. Not the best QB in the world, not the worst, all right, pretty average. But now with the bye week under his, fold, learning, kind of catching everything up. I mean, you think about drinking through a fire hose, if you will. I think Tommy DeVito will be able to extend some drives, and we've seen 14 running backs have 10 or more rush attempts versus Green Bay. 8 of the 14 hit this over, and several of the guys that missed were either one bad, and sorry guys, or their backups and their starter hit the over. So I really think this is a great matchup to target Saquon Barkley. I think he gets back on track. We know how talented he is. He could take 1 carry to the house, That wouldn't surprise anyone out there. But Monday Night Football coming off a bye week, I think they'll find the ways to get him the rock. Well, I don't mind his rushing plus receiving. Sometimes I take the rushing or the rushing plus receiving, and the rushing yards is free. I think that's the best way to target Saquon Barkley. Running on the ground is the best way to beat this Packers defense. Now, my second play, we're going to go to the second game. Like I said, only one pick in each of these. I'll talk about two leans at the end of this one. This last one's pretty easy, and I think it's not going to take a long analysis from me because it's the same game parlay. Tyreek Hill, 75+ receiving yards and a touchdown. That's what we need. -116 on Bet365. I will happily take that value any day of the week. Now, if you're on FanDuel or DraftKings, you might have to take 80+ and a touchdown, but should get around -130-ish. That's what it was when I'm clicking record. I really like this one. Now, for the people that are on daily fantasy apps like the PrizePicks, the Underdog Fantasies of the world, you see Tyreek Hill's line, and obviously he's not at 75. His regular line is 104, 106.5, which is ridiculous. I mean, that's one of the highest lines I've ever seen. And while I don't mind it for Tyreek Hill, obviously he could cash that and not cash my parlay with 75 and a touchdown, but I'm willing to bet that he gets 75 and a touchdown. If he's going to hit the 104, 105.5, probably a good chance he's got 75 and a touchdown, and I'll take my chances with Tyreek Hill getting to the end zone at home in Miami in a great matchup. Now, you look at Tyreek Hill so far this season, 12 games, he's had 12 touchdowns. Pretty solid. Now, he has not had a touchdown in every single game, but has had a touchdown in 10 of 12 games. He's also had 75+ receiving yards. Heck, he's at 80 in 9 of 12 games. And this exact same game parlay has cashed in 9 of 12 games. So whenever he's seen 75+ receiving yards, it's always correlated with him getting a touchdown. We know he has the big play upside to get a 75-yard touchdown. We've seen him do that before. That wouldn't be too crazy. And so I think that for a team like the Tennessee Titans, they're obviously very good at stopping the run. One of the best teams in the NFL at limiting that rushing attack. And I think we're going to see them use Tua Tagovailoa, throw it a ton, and that's where you beat this team, because this is a team in the Titans that's given up a lot of yards, 5th most receiving yards to wide receivers, which is why I like Tyreek Hill tonight. They have given up 12 touchdowns to opposing wide receivers, which isn't, the worst in the league. But I just think on Monday Night Football, back at home, Tyreek's just been a beast in Miami. He is 5 for 5. He's had a touchdown and 75 yards in all 5 home games this year. Let's hope he makes that 6 for 6. I love him. I think he has a great spot in this matchup against the Titans. If they want to double team him, might be in for a tough spot, but I really like Tyreek Hill, 75 yards and a touchdown. A same-game parlay, -115 on Bet365 is the best odds you'll find, but I don't mind it up to about -140. I think it's a great price to take. They got Tyreek Hill juice, though, for a touchdown, like -200, which is kind of crazy. But let's talk about two leans. I won't put them up on the screen. Two other leans I did look hard at, and these are just leans. They're not things that I recommend betting, but, maybe you're like, oh, how do you feel about this guy? Here are the two other players that I looked at. I looked at Tajay Spears of the Titans, his over in receiving yards, and I also looked at Jalen Hyatt, the Giants wide receiver, over in receiving yards. Now, why am I not taking them? Well, one, because, I don't really want to force two plays into either of these two games. Don't love them. But when I look at Tajay Spears, I like them because the Dolphins, what they're best at stopping is they have their two great cornerbacks. So DeAndre Hopkins, don't expect a huge day from him. I just think they're going to have to target the outside or not the running backs out of the backfield or the guys running the short routes. That's not really what Hopkins does, and I don't really want to trust Will Levis anymore. He's burned me plenty of times. No, I don't want to do it. So that's why I'm kind of off Tajay Spears, although I do think he has a decent day. Then Jalen Hyatt, his over in receiving yards could be free. If you're going to take it, I would recommend probably laddering him up to 50 or 60 or 70, because I think if he probably hits it and soars over the line like he did in their last game prior to the bye. I just think this is a guy that they've plenty of reasons to give the rock and throw it to him. I mean, the Giants aren't going anywhere this season. Might as well use the young wide receiver that you didn't really use early on in the season. He's running a ton of routes, finally had that breakout game. Let's see if he can kind of build on that in this Monday night game and really the rest of the season, because this could be a guy that they, use a ton next season when everyone's more healthy than they are this year. But either way, my two plays of the day, a recap of them. Sorry that this video is a little bit different. We have a change of scenery, no graphics and all that stuff, but Saquon's over in rushing yards and Tyreek Hill, same game parlay, 75 yards and a touchdown. Those are my two favorite plays of the day. You guys have a wonderful Monday. I will be back tomorrow for a normal setup, normal videos I don't think I'm really going on vacation until closer to Christmas time. So we'll be good for the next couple weeks. Apologies, Vegas, you know how it is. It is how that works. But I'm Austin. When our NBA Best Bets video is live, I will link it on the screen. Go check it out. We've been doing really well so far this NBA season. I'll see you guys in the next one. I'll be probably on a plane by the time you're watching this, but I'll be back home safe in my bed Monday evening. I'll see you guys in the next one. See you then. Peace out, everyone.